Now we have to look at not companies that will only work economically. It has to work for the environment. It has to work for the society at large. And that's what I think motivates.
Absolutely. You cannot continue to destroy. You cannot continue to be irresponsible. You have to do things in a responsible way, but at the same time achieve economic objectives of the enterprise. If you have been polluting while producing the fabric which we are wearing, you need to find ways of doing it without causing so much pollution. Or you have to definitely balance between what is good for the environment and what is good for business.
And your formulations are good for both, because you have also done something really smart. You've made your formulations in such a way that the users don't have to change any of their processes.
Yes. And one of my learnings early in life was that unless you make it easy for people to use, any solution you offer will not get applied or will not get adopted. If you go and ask the person to install some new machinery, change their process conditions or heat or cool or do things like that, it is going to be very difficult. Number two, we have to make it not more expensive than what they are experiencing today. In fact, it is even better if you are able to save money for them, because then the adoption becomes even better. There may be intent for many people to use safer and greener things, but the economics just does not help them to do that. So you have to make it easy for people to do things. Yes, any customer who is using our product doesn't have to change any of their processes. They just have to replace whatever chemical they are using today with the product which we are offering, and then continue with whatever they were doing before, and they should ideally get the best results they were getting or even better results than what they were getting. And they will end up actually saving money, through means of saving energy, reducing the water consumption, reducing pollution around them, which is our main objective. When we started, our objective was to reduce pollution, but we are able to achieve what we want by helping them achieve what they want.
You're the only company in the, shall we say, the TCA bouquet of companies who's in Series C funding, right? And you said for all three co-founders, the objective was not to make money. But obviously, you're doing something very right.
We hope so. So the initial years are always very hard. That's what happened to us also. And if we had made making money as a primary objective, I think all of us would have given up even before the first product would have hit the marketplace. Even then, we've not been able to, let's say, reap the financial benefits, but we are reaping the other benefits which we were looking for. By selling the kind of products we have sold, we have actually saved billions of liters of water. We have reduced usage of tons of chemicals, which is definitely the great satisfaction for us.
And also because money was not your main objective and you had the fire and the belly to make a difference and reduce pollution, etc., every incident that would have otherwise been a deterrent for others actually gave you a bit more fire. Every incident, I think, just gave you the fire to move forward. Would you say that was true?
Yeah, it as an individual, it made me resilient right from a young age, that I had to go through some difficulties which probably many others would not have. The attitude of never wanting to give up, that helped. Actually, the Chennai floods was a very big event. We lost a lot of inventory. More importantly, we were not able to operate the facility and produce materials and supply to the customers who had shifted to our product. You can imagine what I was saying before, that we had convinced enterprises to move from chemicals to using our product, and they would have had their hesitation. Would the small company be able to fulfill our needs, continue to supply in a sustained manner without any break? And here comes one event like floods, and then we are not able to supply the product for 2 or 3 months. So those were even more difficult for us. Of course, we lost money, We lost inventory, there was machinery affected, and as I said, more importantly, we lost a few customers during that period, and it was like starting all over from scratch. We were as if we were building the business from day one again. The pandemic is again once in a 100-year event. It happened in 1918. Now it's happening in 2020. So we need to be prepared even for once in a 100-year events. That was one learning. The other learning was that we need to expect the unexpected more than the once in a 100-year event. I think we should have probably stored inventory in some other location so that we would have ensured from disruptions in supply. Those kind of risk management learnings took place for all of us, and now we are better informed. We are more prepared to deal with events like that. Again, learning from the floods, we put in better quality management systems, because after the floods we were significantly we had a major contamination issue. You can imagine we are working with microbes, and all that muck which came through the floods affected our processes. So that again made our processes even more robust. So the product performance and the manufacturing process became much more robust. So we were well positioned then for a growth.